Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel. So today, as you can tell by the title of this video, I am going to go through all of my current series that I am reading, that I am up to date on, or that I'm waiting for books to come out on. So there is that. The only reason why I'm posting this video is because after cataloging my books again and doing my big unhaul, and I got some books in and everything, I realized that I do have quite a few series. I think there's 30, possibly. My math could be wrong, but I think there's 30 that I'm currently in the middle of. So now I'm like, I need to start wrapping up some of these series and finishing them, or at least getting caught up with all of the published works now. And I think that's going to be one of my goals, because I want to get through my TBR, and a lot of these books I already own, or I've already pre-ordered and they're going to be on their way in. So we're just going to kind of go through what I have currently. And what I want you guys to do is leave in the comments below any of these series that I name. If you've read them or anything like that, let me know. Should I continue on with that series, or should I just kind of maybe hold off, a little bit? Or which one should I prioritize? I do want your thoughts and opinions on that. But also make sure that you like this video. Make sure that you subscribe to my channel so you don't miss any of my content. And also make sure that you head on over to my Patreon, become a member, be included in the giveaways. I'm going to be having sprints coming out. Get in on the poll so we can start a new book for our book club next month, and a whole bunch more that's going to be coming in the future. So don't miss out on any of that as well. The link is in the description box below. If the link doesn't work, please let me know in the comments and I will update that link for you. But let's get straight into my series. So I have my handy dandy phone with me because I took pictures of all the series that I'm currently in that I'm going to insert into this video, but it's going to help me kind of stay on track, because the way that I have my spreadsheet with my inventory of my books and books that I've read and things like that, it's all alphabetized by, I want to say, the author's first name. So it's not necessarily a perfect cataloging of it, but you know what? We're going with it. So I at least have written out all of the books that are in the series that are currently announced or already published, and I just kind of green them out whenever I have finished them so I know where I'm at in that series. But let's kind of get into it. So this is just going to be from A to Z with the author's first name. So the first one that I am currently in the middle of, and I am waiting for the final book to come out, is The Consequences by A. Jade. So this is not necessarily, it is a series. It's a duet from The Choice. This is the second book in that, but it's kind of like a spinoff from that book, The Words, which is not a series. But this I think is going to be the last book in that world and with the cast of characters as I know right now. Nothing has been announced past that. So The Consequence will be the final book to wrap up. I can't move on any further because it hasn't came out yet. There is no date on when A. Jade is going to, or Ashley Jade is going to publish it. So I'm currently waiting on that. The next one that I am in the middle of is Shades of Rust and Ruin by A.G. Howard. And on that book, I've already read the first one because I got an ARC of it last year. The second one has not been published, or there's no announcement on when the second one will be. So again, I'm kind of at a standstill with this one. So I'm just going to have to wait and see on that. The next one that is out, or that I've been reading, is The Liar's Crown by Abigail Owen. Now, I read the first book because I did get it straight from the publisher, from Entangled Publishing, which thank you so much for that, Entangled. But I did get the first book in kind of like a PR package. I read it. I absolutely adored it. I haven't continued on. I do believe there are 2 more books in this series that have already been published. So I need to continue on with that. So at least I've got the first one down. The next one, which is not necessarily a series, it's a series of standalones, but that is Love Theoretically by Allie Hazelwood. This is the last book in those feminist novels that I need to read, and I haven't yet, and I'm so far behind on that, and I wanted to read it in June when it came out, but I didn't. So Love Theoretically will catch me up to date with that series, and I don't know if there's any more in that series that's going to be coming out, but we'll see. The next one is a graphic novel, and that is Saga. And on that, I've only read volume 1, and I believe there are 10 volumes currently published. So I have 9 more to go, and I have not prioritized those at all. So definitely need to read Saga. I really loved the first graphic novel. I really liked kind of what was going on. I'm really intrigued on how it's going to go further because you're hearing it from the daughter who was born, who's in the future, and she's telling you about the past. It's kind of a weird Twilight Zone type thing, but it works, and I can't wait to continue that. The next in the series that I need to finish is the Crowns of Nyaxia series. So I know this shows the ashes, the serpent and the wings of night. I've already finished up that duet. I've already read Six Scorched Roses. So as of right now, besides reading the standalone Slaying the Vampire Conqueror, I do believe, other than reading that, I'm fully up to date on the Crowns of Nyaxia. I'm just waiting on the next duet to be announced and published. So I can't really go any further with that one, but it is on my list of books that I want to continue. The next one, if you have watched my channel, you know that I absolutely hate this series. But listen, I am 8 books in, you guys. 8 books. I have read all 8 books that are published currently. I'm going to see this through. I have to see this through. And that's the Zodiac Academy. I don't know when book 9 is going to be coming out, but I have that on my list, so there's that. I absolutely hate this series, so it's not going to be like a priority whenever it does come out, but I just want to know how it ends at this point, so I have that on my list here. The next one is Foul Lady Fortune. I don't know if this is a duet or a trilogy, but Foul Huntsman comes out in September or October, and so of course I'm up to date currently with this series, and I can't go on any further, but I have that to look forward to. The next one is another Chloe Gong, and that is Immortal Longings. Now I haven't even read this book yet, but I'm a big Chloe Gong fan. I've read These Violent Delights and Our Violent Ends. I've read Foul Lady Fortune. I've read This Violent Call or Our Violent Delight or something. I don't even know what it's called. It's the 2 novellas. And I've read that. So I'm fully up to date with Chloe Gong. I absolutely love her writing, her world building, and everything. So I automatically put this on there because I already know I'm going to love it. I don't know if it's going to be a series or just a standalone, but I put it on there just in case. So there is that one. The next one is Perfect by Dee Larson. Now, I read Perfect probably 3 or 4 years ago. I do own the second book. It's a duology, and it's called Imperfect. I might need to read the first book again because I've kind of lost what this book's about. And you know what? At this point, if I've had it on my list for 3 or 4 years and I've owned the second book for 3 or 4 years and I haven't read it, am I ever going to read it? That's a question I need to come up with on my series. I need to figure out, am I ever actually going to read this? Because if it's been on there for that long and I've owned that book for that long, so I've had full access to it for years, and I've just never gravitated towards it, is it something that I should push through? Is it something I should prioritize, or should I just let it go? So let me know, guys. The next one is Dance with a Fae Prince. This is the second book in the Married to Magic series. I read the first one, which is Deal with the Elf King. I do know that the third one, which is something with a vampire lord, a duel with the vampire lord, And then I think the fourth and final book hasn't came out yet, but I think it's going to be with sirens, I think. So, I have 3 books in that series to read. Again, this is another one that I own the book to. I have for like, I think 2 years or a little under 2 years, and I haven't gravitated towards it. So am I actually going to read this book or not? I don't know. That's a question for future me, because I don't know. And that's why I'm making this video, so I can kind of take accountability for myself. At the end of the year, I'm going to see how many series I have either finished or caught up on completely, and which ones are still just sitting there not being read. So we'll see. The next one is Bonded by Thorns. This is a new one by Elizabeth Helen. This is a new one that I just added because if you watched, or you need to watch, my vlog that's going to be coming out on Tuesday, because I talk about this one. It's a 5-star, you guys. Don't miss it. Go watch my vlog that comes out in a couple days. You're going to be amazed. And so this one's on there. I know Woven by Gold is already out, which is book 2, and then Forged by Malice comes out, I think, it says winter of 2023. So I know that it's coming out in the next several months, and I want to get caught up with it. So I plan on doing that. That's probably one of my big priorities. Here is another one that has been sitting on my series to continue tab for years, and that is Western Passage. This one is book 2 in that duet. The first one is Western Passage Part 1, and it's Exodus. This one is Part 2, The Arrival or Arrival. I haven't finished it, so I'm going to have to go back and read for book 1 before I can even read book 2, which I own, and I have owned for years, and I just haven't finished it up. So I don't know. It's kind of a dystopian, apocalyptic world that has like vampires and all of this stuff in it. It's a very unique read. Extremely unique. If you're looking for a dystopian book that, does have the paranormal-esque feel to it, definitely pick up Western Passage, because it's so unique. I have never read a book that's anything remotely close to this. So might be something that you might like. Now, it's not very like romantic. There is a little bit of romance, and whenever I say that, there's like a lot of pining, but there's not really like hardly any spice. But it's very plot heavy and dialogue heavy, and I absolutely loved this book. So from what I remember of it, I want to continue on, but I just don't know why I haven't. So that's kind of, how I feel about that. But definitely check it out if you like dystopian, apocalyptic worlds that have, a paranormal feel to it. Maybe not a whole lot of romance. I haven't read the second book, so the second book could have a lot of spice in it. I don't know, but book 1 doesn't. The next one, you guys have heard me rave about this series, but it is The Dark King by Gina Maxwell. I have already read the first and the second one, which is called The Rebel King, so I am fully up to date on this series. I'm waiting for the third and final book to come out, which is called The Vicious King, I think is what it's called, and it follows each brother through this world, and it is so good. It's spicy. It's amazing. It's like an urban fantasy. It has a lot of romance. It has fae in it. It's just so good. And so I can't recommend this book enough. So definitely go check that out if that intrigues you. The next one that I need to finish up, which I own the book to, I do not own the book 2. I need to own it, but it is Losers Part 2. I have read The Dare, and I read Losers Part 1. If you watched my vlog a couple vlogs back, I finished up Losers Part 1, which is very spicy, very dark, very kinky, there's a lot. Check trigger warnings with Harley LaRue. I promise you're going to need to check them. But Losers Part 2 is already out. I need to finish it up. I am desperate to get to this book. Like, absolutely, like, fiending for this book. So I'm definitely making it a priority in September to listen to that on Audible whenever I'm at work, to finish up Losers Part 2. And that will complete the series. There are not any more as of right now. There hasn't been any talks of any more, so that will complete a series entirely for me. And I can finally move one over to the completed series tab, which is not very big. The next one that I have on here is What Lies Beyond the Veil by Harper L. Woods. I did start the first book on here a couple months ago, but I don't know if I want to continue on. I don't know. That I'm really going to have to think about it, because I don't think book one was really that intriguing for me. I don't really think that it grabbed me, but I know a lot of people love this series, so I want to give the second book a chance at least. So I've only read the first one. I don't know when I'm going to put the second one on there, but I do want to continue on at least to give it a shot to see where the plot is going and what's going to happen. The next one, you guys will hear me rave about this book as well, but it is An Enchantment of Thorns, which is a Beauty and the Beast retelling. It is a trilogy. It is a completed trilogy. So there is the second and third book that I need to read. I'm again also desperate to get to this series, because I just absolutely loved this world and the characters and everything about it. I'm a huge Beauty and the Beast fan, so anything that is Beauty and the Beast retelling, I'm all in for. I'm all in for that. So I need to get to that one. The next one is one that I'm not excited to continue, but that's The Stolen Heir by Holly Black. Now, I loved the Cruel Prince trilogy. Absolutely loved it. It is not a romance like everybody keeps saying. Yes, it has maybe a hint of romance in there, but it's not. I loved it. And then whenever you get The Stolen Heir, which is following her brother, Oak, I didn't like it. I couldn't connect to Oak. I couldn't connect to the girl that was in this book. I couldn't connect to anything. So I don't know if I'm going to continue on. I have it on here, but I don't know. We still have a few months before the next book's going to come out. So I'll make a decision then. So let me take a drink. The next series that I have on here is the Magnolia Parks series by Jessa Hastings. Now, I've only read the first book, but I did go out and buy book 2, 3, and 4 that are currently published, because they're coming out with these ugly covers, absolutely ugly covers, and I didn't want them. I wanted the originals. So I still need to read books 2, 3, and 4. Book 2 follows Daisy Hates. Book 3 is Magnolia Parks, and then book 4 is Daisy Hates. So it kind of alternates, and I kind of like that. So I want to read Daisy's book. I've been thinking about it a lot lately, so I might dive into that pretty soon. The next one is Bow Before the Elf Queen, which is a duology, and the second book is already out. It's called Long Live the Elf Queen. I've already read the first book. I just did that recently. I really enjoyed it. I wouldn't say that it was a 5-star. I wouldn't say that I'm desperate to get to it like I am with Losers, but it carried enough weight and enough intrigue for me to continue on. So I have it on here. I am going to listen to it. I know Bookish Box today just announced the pre-sale for Long Live the Elf Queen to match the first book that I have, but I don't know if I want to buy it, because I don't know if it's going to be one of those series that I'm absolutely obsessed with, if that makes sense. So I may pass on it. I don't know. The next one is Fortuna Sworn by KJ Sutton. So this, I did get the first 4 books from Bookish Box as a special edition. I've only read the first book. I really loved it. You're following, our main female character, who is a nightmare, and this world is different and lush and vibrant, and I can't wait to get back into it. So I definitely have the Fortuna Sworn series. I do have it all on Audible as well, so I can listen to it at work, but I just haven't gravitated towards it, and I don't know if I just haven't been in the mood for that type of fantasy romance or not, but I need to get back into it. It's starting to get fall, starting to get Halloween, and that's kind of the vibes that Fortuna Sworn gives me. So I feel like I might start chipping away at that series in the next few months. The next one is Bewitched by Laura Thalassa. There's only one book currently published. The next book has not been released yet because this just came out in April. So I'm fully up to date with it, but I have it on here so I can constantly keep checking on when the second book is going to be published and when I can start getting into it again. So there's that one. The next one is Anyone But Rich by Penelope Bloom. Now, this is a trilogy that follows a different brother for each book. So I have read Anyone But Rich. I actually even own the copy of it, but I haven't finished on. I think the second one is called Anyone But Nick, and the third one is Anyone But Cade, or it's switched around. The second one is Anyone But Cade, and the last one's Anyone But Nick. However, I need to read those two books. They're really, really good. They're kind of like just a contemporary dark romance type thing. And I wouldn't even say dark, actually. I would just say a contemporary romance. The girls in here are quite funny. So I can't wait to continue on with that series. The next one is Divine Rivals by Rebecca Ross. Now, this has been taking the internet by storm, not nearly as much as another series that I have on here, but Divine Rivals was really, really good. It gave you that World War II type, historical romance feel with a little bit of fantastical elements mixed in, and they're writing letters, and they're in the middle of this war, and they're journalists, so they're war journalists, so it gave you all of those feels like it was like a historical romance but with some fantastical elements. So I wouldn't even say this is a fantasy at the moment. So we'll see how, what is it called? Ruthless Vows is the second one. I can't wait for it to come out nonetheless. The next one is definitely taking the whole internet by storm, but that is Fourth Wing by Rebecca Yarros. I don't even need to tell you what this is about. Iron Flame comes out in November, I believe. I've already pre-ordered it, so I can't wait for that to come out. Now, granted, that's coming out in the middle of my busy season, so probably won't even be able to get to this until the mid to end December, but I will be getting to it as soon as I can. The next one is Dirty Lying Fairies by Sabrina Blackberry. Now, this was a Wattpad book, and it was published, and I was like, well, where is the next book in the series? Like, I couldn't find it, and so that now I finally added it to my series to continue, because the next one is called Dirty Lying Dragons. So now I'm really intrigued how we went from fairies to dragons, and I can't wait to continue on with that. So I'll definitely keep you updated. The next one is a incomplete series, but I am fully up to date on it with every book imaginable that's came out, which is A Court of Thorns and Roses by Sarah J. Maas. I don't need to introduce this book or why I love it, so I'm currently up to date, just awaiting, the next book, okay? The next one is another Sarah J. Maas, and that is Crescent City. Again, this one is unfinished. The third book is coming out in January, and it's called House of Flame and Shadow. So I'm anxiously awaiting for January to get here because I've already pre-ordered it. And the only reason why Throne of Glass is not on here because it's completed. There's no other books that are going to be coming out in that world unless Sarah just decides to throw something in there that we've never known. So I'm waiting to finish that, but I'm fully up to date on it. And then Once Upon a Broken Heart trilogy, I am fully up to date on this one. I've read Once Upon a Broken Heart and The Ballad of Never After. I'm just anticipating A Curse for True Love to hurry up and release so I can listen to it or read it, however I devour it. But I need it now, and I'm getting impatient. And then the last book that is on my series to complete is none other than the Blood Grace series. So I have Blood Mercy here, which is the first book. We already know, I'm reading that. I am currently up to book 5. I've read the prequel book. I've read books 1 through 4. I am currently reading book 4.5, which is like a little novella. And then also after that, I'm going to read the other short story, which is called Blood Legacy. And then I'm going to go on to book 5, because then I only have books 5, 6, and 7 that are currently published to be fully up to date. So those are all of the series that I am either fully up to date on and just anxiously awaiting for the next book to come out, or these are series that I still need to continue and I need to just prioritize certain ones so I can start getting to the completion part of it, so I'm not having to go back and read like 4 books before I can read the newest one that comes out. So everyone let me know in the link down below, which ones do you think I should prioritize? Which ones do you think that maybe I should give it a second thought and maybe not continue and really have a deep dive with myself? I know that there's a couple books on there that I probably need to have that inner talk with myself, or just cut the cord and read them because they've been sitting on my shelf for years and there's absolutely no reason why I shouldn't finish the series. So I hope you all enjoyed that. Definitely leave me feedback below. I love to hear your feedback. Join me over on Patreon so you can get in on all of the exclusive content and much, much more that's going to be coming out. But I'm going to go ahead and let you go. I hope you all have a great weekend and I will see you next time. Bye!